The WNBA is in chaos, and right at the eye of this storm stands Caitlin Clark. She came into the league like a spark that set everything on fire. Ticket sales exploded, jerseys sold out overnight, and suddenly, the Indiana Fever, the team nobody used to talk about, was everywhere. Headlines, highlight reels, endorsements, and fan debates. She didn't just arrive, she shifted the entire atmosphere of women's basketball, but for every ounce of attention she brought, there was a price, and it came crashing down on her, rookie shoulders in ways no one saw coming. From the very start, she was fouled at an astonishing rate, not just casual bumps. We're talking bone-jarring hits, mid-air collisions, and plays that looked more like a rugby scrum than basketball. Fans gasped. Clips went viral. But referees, more often than not, they just let it slide. And now, Clark herself has finally broken her silence, revealing details that could shake the league at its core. The irony is brutal. Caitlin Clark didn't struggle on the court because of her skill. Her stats prove she can handle the pressure. She struggled because the league that profited the most from her sudden rise did the least to protect her. A league shaken awake. From the second she was drafted, Caitlin Clark became a walking headline. The Fever's franchise value tripled. League app engagement skyrocketed by 6,000%. Subscriptions jumped 300%. Her jersey? Nearly impossible to find. She wasn't just lifting her team. She was lifting the entire WNBA. And yet, instead of nurturing this momentum, the league allowed her to become a target. Game after game, she absorbed hits that went unchecked. No suspensions, no real penalties for opposing players. Just bruises, silence, and an unspoken message. Deal with it. For fans, it was baffling. You'd expect the WNBA to shield its brightest young star, right? Instead, her rise seemed to stir resentment among veterans who had been grinding for years without the same spotlight. Take Aja Wilson, three-time MVP and powerhouse for the Las Vegas Aces. Right after Clark was drafted, Wilson publicly addressed the media frenzy surrounding her. Her words were measured, but the subtext was clear. This sudden shift in attention wasn't sitting well with everyone. And soon, debates spilled off the court into questions about race, favoritism, and whether the WNBA was embracing Clark's impact or quietly resenting it. Clark herself never fueled the drama. She just played her game, racking up highlights, buzzer beaters, and sold-out arenas. But with every three-pointer and every viral clip, the whispers grew louder. Was the league ready for this? Or was it scrambling to balance the old guard with the new golden goose? The rookie who took the hardest hits. Here's a number that will make your jaw drop. In the 2024 season, Caitlin Clark absorbed 17% of all flagrant and hard fouls in the entire league. One player. Nearly a fifth of the most brutal hits in professional. Women's basketball. That's more than double the next closest player. Double. At that point, can anyone still call it coincidence? Or was it something far more deliberate? These weren't your ordinary fouls. Fans described the replays as looking like scenes from an action movie. Except this wasn't choreographed stunt work. This was real, painful, dangerous. Blindside shoulder, checks, mid-air collisions that could end a season in one fall. And through it all, referees swallowed their whistles. It wasn't just the physical toll. Off the court, the atmosphere was equally hostile. Side remarks from veterans, digs caught, on hot mics, commentary that felt personal rather than professional. Some fans and analysts began asking the hardest question of all. Why? Why was the league allowing its most marketable rookie to become a punching bag? The bigger conversation. The tension around Caitlin Clark isn't just about fouls. It's about something deeper, race, recognition, and resentment. Aja Wilson said it plainly. Race plays a role. For veteran black players who had built their careers without receiving Clark-level endorsements or media attention, her meteoric rise wasn't just surprising, it was frustrating. To them, Clark's sudden spotlight felt like a reminder of years spent being overlooked, and whether intentional or not, that frustration sometimes spilled over into what looked like targeted aggression on the court. Clark never pointed fingers, never claimed victimhood. She stayed quiet, focused, and professional. But silence didn't make the tension disappear. Instead, every foul against her became part of a bigger cultural conversation, one that forced the league to face decades of unresolved issues about representation and fairness in women's basketball. Her teammate, Sophie Cunningham, didn't hold back. She publicly blasted the league for failing to protect its star, saying these weren't just hard plays. These were dangerous hits that blurred the line between defense and intent to harm. And she was right. Week after week, the hits piled up while officials and executives seemed content to look the other way. A tragedy in plain sight. And so, Caitlin Clark's rookie season ended not with a celebration, but with exhaustion, frustration, and bruises that went far deeper than the skin. The tragedy isn't just that she's stepping away, it's that she's stepping away at the peak of her influence, at a moment when her energy could have carried the WNBA to heights it has never reached before. Instead of being celebrated and shielded, she was left to fend for herself in a league that desperately needed her star power, but seemingly refused to protect it. The bigger tragedy? The questions that linger. Was she simply the victim of overly physical play? Or was she carrying the weight of a league's hidden tensions, politics, race, pride, and perception on her back? Beyond basketball, at the end of the day, this isn't just about one rookie. It isn't even just about basketball. It's about what happens when a league gets the star it always dreamed of, but isn't prepared for the fallout that comes with it. Caitlin Clark went from newcomer to the most polarizing figure in women's basketball in less than a year. She carried the game into living rooms that had never tuned in before. She brought kids, families, and national attention to arenas that were once half empty. And in return, she got bruises, silence, and a system that often seemed to work against her. Whether you love her, resent her, or fall somewhere in between, one truth remains. Caitlin Clark has already changed the WNBA forever. And this story, her story, is far from over. The season is still unfolding, but the real game may be happening far beyond the scoreboard. Because what happens when the so-called Michael Jordan effect, the power of one transcendent star to transform an entire league, takes an unexpected turn? That's what we're seeing now with Caitlin Clark. The rookie who was supposed to be the WNBA's saving grace has instead become its biggest controversy. Clark didn't just enter the league quietly, she stormed in. In 2021, she shattered rookie marketing records, captured fans nationwide, and became more than just a player. She became a symbol of hope for a league that desperately needed new energy. Overnight, she was pulling women's basketball into mainstream conversation, lighting up arenas, and rewriting what rookie impact looked like. But what should have been a story of triumph has taken a darker turn. Because from the very beginning, her brilliance attracted not only fans, but also relentless targeting. She was fouled harder, hit more aggressively, and left unprotected in ways that made analysts, fans, and even her own teammates question what was happening. By 2023, this wasn't just whispered frustration, it was full-blown debate. Game after game, the footage piled up. Elbows, body checks, dangerous collisions. And the referees, silent. What might have been an automatic whistle for another star was ignored when it came to Clark. Observers started, comparing her treatment to that of other league icons, and the gap was undeniable. She wasn't being punished for mistakes. She was being punished for being too good, too fast. A legal storm brewing. And here's where things get even more explosive. Legal experts say what Clark is facing looks eerily similar to a hostile work environment. Under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, harassment doesn't need to involve slurs or shouted insults. Repeated, degrading, unequal treatment is enough. And in Clark's case, the numbers are staggering. She took nearly double the flagrant fouls of any other player, endured far more aggressive physical play, and watched as leadership shrugged it off. The Wall Street Journal didn't mince words. They warned the WNBA could already be staring down the barrel of a civil rights lawsuit, describing Clark's situation as a league treating its most valuable asset not like a triumph, but like a problem. Remember Harris versus Forklift Systems in 1993? That case established that a hostile environment doesn't require punches or verbal abuse. Repeated degrading behavior is enough. And in Tossenberry versus Texas Department of Community Affairs, courts made it clear, once unequal treatment is proven, the burden shifts to the employer. By those legal standards, the WNBA's silence could be its undoing. The human toll, but beyond the legalities, there's the human cost. Clark didn't join the WNBA to fight lawsuits or test workplace protections. She came to play basketball, to elevate the sport, to inspire millions. Yet here she is, hurt, frustrated, and sidelined. She carried the league into a new era of attention, and in return, she's been met with bruises, resentment, and a leadership that seems unwilling to step in. Sophie Cunningham, now her teammate, admitted that back when she played for Phoenix, her team openly discussed getting physical with Clark. Now standing beside her in the Fever locker room, even Sophie says the targeting has gone way too far. And if your own teammate believes you're being singled out, that speaks volumes. It's not just fouls, it's the way Clark's record-breaking popularity has been treated inside the league. Earlier this year, she pulled in 1.29 million All-Star votes, a jaw-dropping number, and yet she ranked only 9th among guards in player voting. Analysts like Dick Vitale called it what it looked like, pure jealousy. Because whether her peers like it or not, Clark has already delivered tangible benefits, chartered flights, higher salaries, sold-out arenas, and TV ratings the WNBA never dreamed of before she arrived. Resentment, identity, and silence from the top beneath all of this lies an even more delicate layer, identity. Clark's race, sexuality, and image set her apart in a league where not every star shares those traits. Candace Wiggins once claimed she was bullied out of the WNBA for being straight. While Clark's situation isn't identical, some wonder, could she be facing her own version of that treatment? Not just for how she plays, but for who she is. And when whispers of discrimination surface, this stops being just a basketball story. Reports suggest the Department of Justice has even taken notice. That means the storm surrounding Clark has spilled out of the arenas and into the halls of federal power. Suddenly, the silence of Commissioner Kathy Engelbert becomes deafening. Her job isn't just business growth, it's safeguarding players. And yet, game after game, Clark takes the hits, while leadership pretends nothing's happening. The storm breaks wide open for fans. The questions are relentless. Is this just physical basketball or something more personal? Could bias, jealousy, or institutional neglect be driving the league's failure to protect its star? Even lawmakers are now stepping in. Senator Jim Banks sent a formal letter demanding answers from the commissioner. And when politics enters the game, you know the storm is far bigger than one season. And then came the Olympic snub. Despite carrying the WNBA's growth on her back, Clark was left off Team USA. Fans erupted. Analysts speculated. Why bench the very player who brought unprecedented attention to women's basketball? The message, intentional or not, was clear. The system wasn't ready to fully embrace its brightest star. A fight bigger than basketball. On the court, Clark faced flagrant fouls and brutal hits. Off the court, she endured silence, dismissals, and a media strangely reluctant to dig into what was happening. Even some owners chimed in with comments suggesting others deserved the spotlight more. But when a player can break records, sell out arenas, and still be denied both respect and protection, it says less about her and more about the league itself. The emotional toll is immense. Clark wanted to play the game she loves. Instead, she's become a lightning rod for issues that go far beyond basketball: fairness, recognition, identity, and power. And now, fans are left asking the same haunting question. How can one player carry a league on her back and still face such resistance? The final question. The truth is, Caitlin Clark's story is no longer just about basketball. It's about what happens when greatness dares to shine in a system unprepared or unwilling to protect it. The season is still unfolding, but one thing is undeniable. Clark isn't just battling opponents on the hardwood. She's battling a storm that stretches into boardrooms, locker rooms, and even Congress. So what exactly drove Caitlin Clark to finally break her silence after the league's shocking ultimatum? And what will it mean for the future of the WNBA? Because if the Michael Jordan effect has gone wrong, the fallout could change women's basketball forever.